Today we're going to cover something a bit different. I'm going to be covering some little known Easter eggs, secrets, tips and glitches that appear in Sea of Thieves. If you find out something you didn't know, you have to drop a like. Those are the rules. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Let's see if we can get some of you lot out on the first try. Slashing and blocking attacks with the sword with a crewmate will actually register in your log as a sword duel. Upon learning this, I decided to see what else you can do with this. Lo and behold, you can actually earn some achievements with your crew, namely the You Fight Like a Merchant and How Appropriate You Fight Like a Chicken achievements. These involve blocking an attack and hitting an enemy within 5 seconds and your opponent blocking an attack and then hitting you within 5 seconds. I'm not sure why this works, but I think it's to do with the hit detection in the game and collision being turned off for your fellow crew members. This seems like a straightforward way of solving an issue. Did you know that in the prototyping phase for Sea of Thieves, the devs actually planned to have some mechanics that did not make the final cut, with the first being a tightrope mechanic when harpooning a ship or the geography. This was discussed by Andrew Preston, a lead designer in the game, in the latest developer podcast. You would have been able to walk across the rope with your crew or cut the rope causing the pirates on it to fall off. You could also use it to attach to an island to scale heights, even allowing you to grind back down them to your ship. Honestly, the fact that this didn't make the cut is criminal. I really do think it's an incredible idea and would love to see it as a mechanic in the future. The next one was a sleep mechanic, which was paired with a tiredness meter which had to be filled, or your pirate would begin falling asleep, which also included out on the islands or doing activities. There was also a painting canvas mechanic planned, which would involve wielding a blank canvas and players could paint a screenshot of what you could see on the canvas. This would have also been mounted on your ship, which would even go askew or fall off during ship fights and storms. Your saved pictures would also load into a new game at the tavern to display to your crew. This does sound like a pretty great idea, and I'm sort of sad it didn't actually see the light of day. On a similar note, the tools were originally meant to be wielded and shared amongst the crew, where you would have designated roles in the crew rather than having your own personal tools. I can see why this was scrapped, although in a group of friends this could be both hilarious and engaging. Back in 2018 when Sea of Thieves had just launched, Rare had a number of updates planned soon after the game's launch. Some sounded fantastic like pets in Captaincy, yet others not so great. Like the death tax. It was originally planned as one of the first minor updates, where you would lose a small amount of gold for each time you died, with each method of death being a different charge. As you can imagine, the community did indeed push back on this and Rare decided to scrap the idea. Speaking of scrapped ideas, Captaincy please Rare. This is definitely some OG trivia here, but Hidden Spring Keep was originally planned to be a normal island, and we can see examples of this in the pre-release gameplay with the developers. For those of you who are lucky enough to play the alpha, you would have been able to experience the joy of Hidden Spring Keep without all the gnarled wood and spiky everywhere. I wonder if all the islands that turned into forts did indeed start off as regular islands. Speaking of the game's alpha, the Pirate Legend hideout used to have a completely different leader. Instead of the Pirate Lord, there sat Belle, Legend of the Deep. Not much is known about this character other than she appears in a lot of pre-release footage and merchandise, with a giant statue of her commissioned where she holds a torch on top of a beacon. Statues of the Gold Hoarder and Flameheart have also appeared. This character also may be Diving Belle, who's one of the narrators in the second half of the Tales from the Sea of Thieves novel. She's also depicted wearing the same necklace with the Reaper's mark that is implied to have cursed Ramsay. Something makes me think we'll be encountering her sooner or later. Sea of Thieves has a metric ton of merchandise, but did you know there was a large amount that was cancelled before launch, including a selection of figures and die-cast busts? The figures themselves were meant to be of Captain Flameheart, Belle, Legend of the Deep, and the Pirate Lord, with the die-cast busts being the 3 main faction leaders, Belle, the Pirate Lord, and the Gold Hoarder. I would love to have got my hands on these because I'm a sucker for merch, and when I asked Mike Chapman about this on Twitter, he said that these have been cancelled, but we may see something even better in the future. If I had to bet, it would be one of those high quality figures from First for Figures, which Rare have already licensed a few Banjo ones and a Conker one. Some of you will know this from my Ranking the Ancient Isles video, but Thieves Haven and Crooks Hollow were originally planned to be the same island but were split apart due to being far too large. This can be seen in the Sea of Thieves art book on page 134. It really makes me wonder how badly the frame drops would have been, and my graphic card absolutely hates me even if I look in the general direction of Thieves Haven. Imagine getting an X marks the spot map on that. Fuck that. This one is more of a gameplay tip, but a very unknown one at that, and is only really useful in the sloop and brig. When you charge up a sword lunge, you'll be stunned for several seconds if you miss, or have a near instant recovery when you hit another player. If you're fighting someone at the front of your ship and go to sword lunge, they see you and get out of the way, aim for the harpoon. If you hit the harpoon, this will act as if you've hit a player and you can recover instantly. It really does throw people off as they expect to be able to punish you for this, in which you can catch them off guard instead. I believe this works because you can shoot or hit the harpoon to detach it, so a sword lunge is also treated like a hit in terms of the game mechanics. The waves in Sea of Thieves are actually server-side, meaning in every session they will always travel from one way to another. In this case, the waves travel from northwest to southeast. What does this mean for you? Well, this determines which way the waves push your ship. I'll use some simple directions to explain this. If you sail from northwest to southwest, your ship will not be pushed as the waves are hitting the side of your ship, so sailing will be smooth. The same is always true for vice versa. If you sail from northeast to southwest, your ship will be pushed to face east, whereas the opposite direction will push you to face west. Use this to your advantage, as you will always have to keep adjusting the wheel to stay on course. In the most recent developer podcast, the team got on to speaking about how rare the Shrouded Ghost actually was, but to everyone's disappointment, the team was quick to shut down the chances of it spawning. Shelley Preston, one of the lead designers, commented on the fact they could not remember how low they set the number, but was quickly shut down by Mike Chapman, stating there is no number for the Shrouded Ghost to spawn. This was really strange to me, as of course it has to have a number assigned to it for it to spawn. It would not be RNG otherwise. RNG stands for Random Number Generator, so I'm a bit surprised about the hush-hush nature of this discussion. In this case, I think Rare wants to keep this number classified for unknown reasons. Could it be the result of a hoax all along? Or is it just the fact they don't want people to get a hold of that number and abuse it? I guess we'll never know. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new and enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and allows me to get one step closer to 10k. We have a special giveaway then, so make sure you're part of that. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.